And welcome back to Music Free Static. I hope you're having a fabulous day, and it is time for another really late movie review. Or, in this case, TV show review, as I want to talk about Agatha All Along. And, you know, I loved WandaVision. Okay? WandaVision, when it came out, was amazing. Okay? Now, part of it, uh, I really dug because I was into those early sitcoms and all that stuff. But the story it told was fabulous. Okay, okay, there were some issues, but mostly I loved it. I mean, really, it was great. Um, but one of the things I really liked it was the character of Agatha Harkness. Now, at the end, of course, of WandaVision, Wanda puts Agatha in under another spell, and she is locked in her own um, she's locked in her own mind, thinking she's in various TV shows, I guess. So when Agatha All Along picks up, it's her still inside a TV show. In this case, it's a cop show, right? And it's fine, and right up until this weird kid shows up and basically breaks her out of it. Now, I'm going to get into this. I'm going to talk about spoilers. The show's been out for a little while now, right? Because of my recording schedule, this is going out a little bit later than I might otherwise have. But when Teen shows up, okay, and this is how they refer to him for a long time, is Teen, because he's got this sigil on him, so nobody knows his name, knows who he is, whatever. Okay, he goes to Agatha, which we find out later is a common request to take the witch's road. And the myth is that if they walk this road with all of its various challenges, at the end, they'll be granted whatever it is they're looking for, some form of power or other, okay? Or, whatever else, right? Well, it turns out Agatha is the source of that myth, and witches have been coming to her for centuries to walk the road. So that's what Teen did. He came to her to walk the road. And so they gather up this coven. Now, all of these witches are actually really cool. Okay. I mean, you get Deborah Jo Rupp's character, right? Mrs. Hart from within the WandaVision hex. Actually, this poor little old lady, right? She's the only non-witch along, but hey, it's fine, right? Nothing could go wrong there. But yeah, the cast of characters they bring in is fun, and the interaction between all of them is great. It's a little bit annoying that they keep killing off the witches. Now, it's not like every episode, but fairly quickly through this, yeah, they're killing off a lot of the witches, and it's a little bit annoying because because the interaction is so good. The reality is, I expected at least one or two of them to die. Honestly, I expected I expected Mrs. Hart to go, and she does. Okay, because she wasn't a witch, right? But I really liked the others, and when they started killing them all off, it's like, oh, come on, man, I liked her. She was cool, but it was fun. The trials they have to face were they were interesting. Okay, it was fun how they were tailored to each witch, and you learned about each of them. It's like, what's their hang up? Because all of these witches are broken in some way, right? And it was fun to see how they overcame their whatever their trials were. Okay, seeing some of these characters like what was it, Jennifer Kale, who was she was a potions witch. Okay, but her main witchy power was all locked away. Her power had been bound, turns out, by Agatha, conveniently enough. And yeah, she was the only other witch to survive. But she was a fun character. Okay. She kind of grew beyond the almost fraud that she was, right? And then you get Alice, who was under a generational curse. Her mom was a famous pop singer who sang the a poppy version of The Witch's Road, which she had turned into a protection spell for Alice, right? All of this stuff was fun, and I liked Alice. I would have loved to have seen her continue. Of course, she didn't, but it would have been nice to have seen her continue through. Oh, and Lilia was fun. So, played by by Patti LuPone, who's been around for a long time and has been a fabulous actor for a long time. But Lilia was she could see the future. Okay, the problem was the future was never it never comes at her at convenient times. Okay, it's just it keeps interrupting her day to day. And what she tells one of the others at one point that time isn't linear. It goes here and there and everywhere, and it keeps interrupting her at weird times. So she seems often kind of kooky and weird, right? But she was fun, and again, I wasn't thrilled seeing her die, okay, but she went like a hero, which was she actually got her stuff together, which was great, okay. And then of course you end up with Rio, who shows up. Rio, played by Aubrey Plaza, who is in fact death. Okay, we find out that Rio and Agatha had a special relationship for a while, and yeah, it ended up being rough because Rio actually has a job to do, and that's death, right? That's her deal. That's what she's got to do with. I don't know that any of that sentence made sense, but yeah, it was fun seeing all of these interactions, learning some of Agatha's history or the myths about her history. And one of the things that was really touching, okay? Everyone assumed that Agatha killed her son to get the Darkhold, which she has in WandaVision. We find out in the last episode, as we go back and what sort of the what really happened episode, shows that no, she had this baby. It was going to die. Rio had come to take it, but said, you know what? No. I have to take him, but I can't give you time. And so Agatha has 6 or 8 years with her son. And in a lot of ways, it was her son who came up with the Ballad of the Witch's Road, which is supposed to open the gateway to the road. Okay. And then he dies. Okay. What we do find out, however, is that Agatha had been using that myth of the Witch's Road after her son dies as a way of sucking in or suckering in other witches to steal their powers. And it's this whole round of, all right, we do what we need to do to open the road, and then it doesn't work because, of course, it doesn't work. There's nothing there. And then she goes postal on the other witches, and they eventually attack her, and she steals her powers. Agatha steals all of their powers, okay? This has been her gig for a while. So when Teen shows up and says, okay, I'm looking for the Witch's Road. Ah, Agatha, who has lost her powers thanks to Wanda from WandaVision. So great. I could play the old game, get everyone together, get them to attack me. And turns out Teen screws that plan up. Because, now here's the twist. All right, again, talking full spoilers, right? Teen is weird. Okay. He was this Jewish kid named William. Darn, I forgot what his last name was. And IMDb is not helpful here because they just list him as Teen, which is great because it helps avoid the spoilers here. But he's this kid named William. He's going through his bar mitzvah. He actually meets Lilia at the bar mitzvah. The family has hired her as a palm reader. He's got this whole magic themed bar mitzvah going on because he's totally into magic and stuff, right? Houdini and palm reading and witches and all of this stuff. And well, great. Well, this takes place at the time of WandaVision, and as Wanda decides to take down the Hex, and she's saying goodbye to her family. Her son Billy, who has basically Wanda's psychic and magic powers, he casts out and finds William at a state of death or near death. So what happens is the Williams family ends up in a car crash at the time the Hex is going away. And so Billy ends up in William's body. And so what's happening here is that, actually, let's put it this way. Teen is trying to figure out if he is William or if he is Billy. Okay? And it's strange. Okay? I mean, but it's a understandable suggestion, right? Or questions. Like he has no memory of what happened before the crash. He's got Billy Maximov's consciousness in him. Who is he now, right? So yeah, it was interesting to see, and what we find out is that he truly is Wanda's kid, because remember throughout the show they're walking the Witch's Road, right? But it wasn't. The road didn't exist. It was a creation of Billy's. Unconscious, I think, but he created the road. All right, so great. So adventures happened, but it was we're not gonna say it was all in Billy's head, but like Westview was in the Hex, the road wasn't real until he made it real, which was fascinating. And that's why if you look at a lot of the stuff in Billy's room or William's room, you see a bunch of stuff from the road in his room because he's pulling from his own memories and all of that stuff. So great. Now the synopsis is kind of done. There was some stuff that I really liked, all of the interaction between the characters. There are a couple of times where Agatha's characterization was just sort of weird. And this is one of the things I may have to go watch it again, because Agatha knows the road isn't real until it shows up. So now what? And most of the time, she's a jerk. Okay. And she doesn't treat the other people very well, but she's really seems to have this sort of almost maternal protectiveness surrounding Teen right up until Alice dies. And Agatha kills her because Alice tries to protect Agatha by driving a ghost out of her. But Wanda steals powers by when someone attacks her. When someone attacks her, she sucks in the powers, okay, and ends up killing Alice. So she gets at least a little bit of her power back. Okay. Wonderful. And they come out of that trial, and Agatha, who had been sort of almost looked like she was softening a little bit, she comes out and lays into Teen, and it's a really sudden shift. It's definitely caught me by surprise, and I don't know what was going on with that. Okay, but it definitely felt weird. Okay, it gave me whiplash. Okay, it's like, what? Wait, what? Something was supposed to be, maybe, huh? Right? It was just bizarre. What we see is that, yeah, there's definitely a little bit of Billy Maximoff coming out here, and I think Agatha is trying to push him to accept his power so that he would then attack her so she could take his powers, right? Because that's her gig, right? This is what she does. Ultimately, they leave the fabrication of the road, and what ends up happening is that, yeah, Jennifer, who is the last surviving witch, she does get what she wants. She gets unbound, and she escapes. And we see her flying off Scarlet Witch style, with a little magic glowy things on her hands to fly her wherever it is she's going to go. Now, apparently that character, and I don't know, I'm not into the comics, okay? I was never a comics kid. But apparently that character is just a regular character in Marvel Comics, another witchy type character. So she could be back doing other things later. But what we find is that what Teen is looking for, or Billy is looking for, is his brother. Okay? Because Billy and Tommy were twins, and they were tight, okay? Which is great. What bothers me a little bit is Billy's antagonism to Wanda. Because it comes up a couple of times like, oh, are you looking for your mom? Wanda, Agatha taunts him. Says, Wanda was not my mom. I have a mom. It's like, that doesn't quite sit right with me for what his feelings were towards Wanda as he was, quote unquote, dying when the hex collapsed. Right, there's something there that that didn't quite sit right, and I'm not entirely sure why. But we do find out, okay, he's going to go find Tommy, and apparently he does manage to pull Tommy's consciousness into another kid who was dying and bringing him back. But that's a story for another time, apparently, as now ghostly Agatha, because Agatha tries to fight death, and you can't fight death. Death will win. Death comes for us all, and death will win. You can't stop it. So, Agatha is now a ghost, which that I thought was sort of a weird choice. Okay? Not that it's necessarily a bad one, but I would have liked to have seen actual Agatha continue on in the MCU. But hey, now we have ghostly Agatha to haunt Billy as he goes and does his thing. And yes, I think he has fully embraced his double life, his new whoever he is now as Billy Maximoff, as he goes to find his brother. It's gonna be weird. I don't know, and Marvel has not announced whether or not there's going to be a Billy All Along or whatever show, right? We don't know if there's a Billy Maximoff show as he goes to find Teen. Find Tommy. They've been kind of setting up a Young Avengers lineup with Kamala Khan, right, as Miss Marvel. Um, our new Hawkeye. Right now, you've got Billy and eventually Tommy. Uh, I could see the and perhaps Ant Man's daughter, whatever her name is, right? Um, Cassie, right? You could kind of see them setting all of that stuff up, and maybe at the beginning of that movie is Billy finding Tommy, right? Right, you could do that. I don't know if there's a full movie of Billy and Tommy because what is that show, right? It's well, you were so and so, but now you're the embodiment of my dead brother Tommy Maximoff. That's not a discussion that makes for a 6 episode or an 8 episode movie, right? Or a TV show. That's like the first, I don't know, or the last 30 minutes. Or if you have a 30-minute, it's like, okay, here's the first 30 minutes. Let's go find the kid. And now, next episode, oh, good, we found him. And this is the third act is, hey, guess what? You're Tommy. Yay! Now what? Right? So, all in all, it's weird, but at least the setup is there. And they don't have to show that. They could show the twins, if they start, here's the Young Avengers, and they start the twins with, all right, they're there. They're together. It took us a while to find each other, but hey, here we are. Yay! Okay, great. Now, they did ask the question a couple of times and didn't really give an answer. Is Wanda Maximoff still alive? They still don't have an answer for that. Okay. I would expect, because Wanda ended up being a fairly popular character, especially because of the success of WandaVision, I could see them wanting to bring back Wanda Maximoff. Now, there's a Vision series coming. And I could see that perhaps maybe doing something, right? But I don't know. I don't know if they're going to try to reunite the family. I think there's going to be some extra sparks flying if they do try to reunite the family. But I don't know. I don't know. That's in the future. And, and I've seen a number of, clickbaity headlines of things. Were the events from Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness where Wanda Maximoff goes a little bit insane? Was that Lilia's fault, right? Because Lilia hid Billy, she also hid him from Wanda. And so when Wanda was looking for him, she didn't find him on her own Earth. She found him in the multiverse. Okay, maybe. I don't know. You can go watch all of those, theory or New Rockstars cover, whatever. Go watch those videos for those breakdowns. But ultimately, does it matter? I don't know. But the question is still, is Wanda alive? All we've got is a flash of red as Mount Wundagore collapses down. And that could have been her escaping, right? That could have been her last gasp to try to protect herself. We don't know. All we know is that there was a flash of red, and when a character dies off screen, there's always a chance they can come back. Okay. The question is, though, where has she been, right? So, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. And it's very possible that flash of red was encasing herself in sort of a protective stasis until Vision maybe shows up and saves her. Don't know. Just don't know. We'll find out, I guess. But and it's a big but. They've got an option to not bring her back, though. I said Elizabeth Olsen was great as the Scarlet Witch, so I'd love to see Wanda come back. And the now somewhat broken home of now White Vision, a I'm not going to say reincarnated, but whatever happens to Wanda, she's back, and the definitely reincarnated Billy and Tommy, who don't have that connection with Wanda anymore. So yeah, that could be weird. There's some definite weirdness, and maybe that is part of what's going to happen in the Vision show. Because what else are they going to do with Vision? I don't know. But that would be great to see that happen. Is see her come back for that. So don't know. But ultimately, what do I think of Agatha All Along? It was good. It was a good show. I've liked it better than some of the more recent ones. So I thought it was more fun than like Falcon and the Winter Soldier and some of those, right? So definitely worth a watch. The characters are great. And yeah, that's about all I have to say about that. So check it out. I will definitely be rewatching this one, especially because some of it will probably make more sense now that I know what's going on, and it's easier to see some of those clues of what's happening, especially with Lilia. And they did this in the show of she has a bunch of these weird outbursts where you can tell she's not present. She is definitely somewhere else. And they kind of showed where all of those outbursts were coming from as her future tries to put itself in her presence, right? All of that stuff. So it was good, but seeing all of this stuff go could be really interesting. So yes, I'm definitely going to be watching this thing again. And I encourage you, if you have not watched it, it's definitely worth a watch. It's a fun show. So on that note, thank you all for hanging out with me today. This has been a lot of fun. And until next time, be excellent to each other. And this is Music Free Static signing off.